As we approach the 250th anniversary of the United States, I think it's worth remembering a lesson that Americans have repeatedly forgotten throughout our history. There is no such thing as a valueless contribution towards the preservation of the Republic. Hi, I'm Nate Charles, and welcome back to the Rule of Law Brief. One of the most destructive and self-defeating ideas that people tell themselves is that if they can't solve the entire problem, there's no point in doing anything at all. And nothing could be further from the truth. When we think about the American Revolution, we tend to focus on George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and Benjamin Franklin. But revolutions are not won by a handful of famous people. They're won by thousands of ordinary people making contributions that seem small when viewed in isolation, but are anything but in the aggregate. Some people fought. Some people carried messages. Some people gathered intelligence. Some people printed newspapers. Some people supplied food. Some people donated money. Every one of those contributions mattered. And this isn't just my opinion. Mao Zedong, David Galula, Robert Tabor, and modern American counterinsurgency doctrine all recognize the same thing. Movements survive because large numbers of people contribute in different and varied ways. Movements survive because large numbers of people contribute in varied ways. Some recruit, some communicate, some provide logistics, some gather intelligence, some engage in direct action. The people standing at the front of the movement are in no way the entire movement. They're just the tip of the spear. And today's news cycle provided an excellent contemporary example. Federal prosecutors recently unsealed an indictment in Minnesota charging 15 individuals with conspiracy to impede federal officers. Now, I am not here to tell you whether those defendants are guilty, and I'm not necessarily here to endorse their conduct. What interests me is the indictment itself. According to the government, some of the defendants planned operations, coordinated communications, transported equipment, built infrastructure for demonstrations, and allegedly participated in direct action against federal law enforcement officers. Others are alleged to have merely attended meetings, coordinated communications, promoted events, written articles, participated in discussions, or otherwise helped maintain the organization's network. All patently legal, protected First Amendment activity. And because of that, as a former federal prosecutor myself, I think that the allegations against some of these defendants are considerably stronger than the allegations against the others. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if some of the defendants ultimately succeed in challenging the charges against them. Some of the conduct described in the indictment appears, at least from the face of the document, to consist largely of free speech, association writing, and political advocacy that ordinarily receives First Amendment protections. Now, the courts will sort that out. But that's not the point of today's message. The point today is that the government's own theory of the case recognizes something important. Organizations depend on people performing different functions. Not everyone in this indictment was allegedly building barricades. Not everyone was allegedly confronting law enforcement officers. Not everyone was allegedly organizing operations. Some people were communicating. Some people were recruiting. Some people were organizing. Some people maintained the network. Whether or not the organization's goals were lawful, the organization itself depended upon people making contributions of varying sizes and varying kinds. And that is true of every political movement in history. The American Revolution worked that way. The Civil Rights Movement worked that way. The labor movement worked that way. Women's suffrage worked that way. No movement succeeds because everyone does the same thing. It succeeds because different people contribute according to their abilities, resources, circumstances, and willingness to act. History tends to laud heroes, but the Constitution itself does not need heroes nearly so much as it needs citizens. Not everyone can do everything. Not everyone should do everything. Your responsibility as a conscientious American citizen is not to make the largest contribution. Your responsibility is to make the contribution that is available to you. As America approaches its 250th birthday, that's worth remembering. There is no such thing as a valueless contribution. If you believe in the Constitution, if you believe in the rule of law, if you believe in the American experiment, then do what you can. Not what someone else can, what you can. Every generation inherits this republic, and every generation decides whether it will merely enjoy the blessings of liberty or help preserve them for the next generation. Thanks, and please stick around for more commentary on this developing situation in Minnesota.